In this Sean Speaks episode, I get to speak to you from my heart about an important part of parenting, family life, and a parent's mental health and mindset. I want to help you thrive in how you speak to your kids and how you speak to yourself. Sean Speaks is a live teaching I did with a Zoom room filled with my VIP members. It's interactive, it's spontaneous, it's raw and unedited. If you'd like to go deeper with me, visit my website. One of the things we do now with parents in the parenting realm is that we give parents labels. We've got these labels like passive, permissive, authoritarian, authoritative, laissez-faire. And so I want to invite you to think about some new labels for a second. And you think about your own parenting style, I think about your spouses, and you might even think about your parents. I think some parents, they see their kids through these lenses of obedience. Like they really think it's their job just to raise really obedient kids. And they're very much into that because they see all these problems in society and so many screwed up kids. And they're like, I can't do that. I cannot let my kid become one of these loser, screwed up kids that is not launching and has got problems. I have to produce good, obedient kids. And they just see that child as like a part of them. And that is their mission, to create an obedient child. And then on the same word, obedient, I think that some people want to create obedient kids, not because they're so concerned about creating great kids, because they just want harmony in the home. So they want obedient kids, not like because it makes them feel good to produce a good kid, but because any type of chaos in the home is so freaking painful to them. It just hurts them. It's like, why is this kid doing this? And essentially what they're saying is, why is this kid acting like a kid? I can't do this. I can't have this kid whining around brushing her teeth or around, getting off the screen. This is like what kids do. I think some parents really think of it as, in my job, they see their child through the lenses of a provider. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to provide. I make money. I take them on nice vacations. I give them good things. I was talking to a dad yesterday who's inquiring about how my team and I can help his family. And he's got a very challenging situation where his high school student is really struggling. This high school student is doing a lot of drugs, vaping, going down to the park to do shady things, got mostly D's and F's, and even struggling with their hygiene. And during this little consult call with this nice man, I asked him a tough question. I say, hey, I asked this to everybody. So don't take it offense. I'm just trying to get to know you. I'm trying to help. But how are you a part of this problem? That's the question I asked. And he was very mindful and cool and kind with his response. And his response was, yeah, I've been just very busy and I work a lot. And I just don't think I'm really emotionally, been really there for my high school student. And to be honest with you, I think I've talked to my student maybe 2 times in the last month because I'm so angry. I'm realizing now, even now, answering this question, that I just have always viewed, fatherhood as like, I just need to be a provider. And I just see now that I just haven't been there for my high school kid, as much as I think I should have been. And so how do you see the world? How do you see your child? Do you see the child through these forms of obedience? Or how about a provider? And I want to invite you to see your child and see your parenting in a new light today. If you ask 10 parents, what is trust? If you ask 10 parents, what does it feel like to have a trusting relationship with your child? If you ask 10 parents, what does it mean to be able to trust your child? You're going to get 10 different responses. If you ask 10 people, what does trust mean? And what does trust even feel like? You're going to get 10 different responses. I think if you ask a sports coach, hey, what does trust feel like to you as a sports coach, whether you're a high school coach, a little league coach, professional coach? I think this is what a lot of them would say. I think they would say, what trust means is that my job is to show up and be there for my athletes, to train them, to get them prepared for the game. And I would like to think like there are certain games where like we go into the game and I can trust them. I can trust them to do their jobs. I can trust them to put into practice the training that they've been doing. And I think that they can trust me to coach them in a really wise, effective way. So for us to be the parents we want to be and to solve these problems, believe me when I tell you this, that we've got to start thinking more about trust. Let me give you some examples, all right? When you ask most parents, what do you think about trust? The first thing most are going to say is, oh, lying. I don't want my kid to lie to me. I want them to be honest with me. Whether it be like, did you brush your teeth when they're younger? Or did you hit your sister when they get older? Or, hey, you can be honest with me. Were you drinking and driving? Just tell me what's going on. Just tell me you won't be in trouble. We want that honesty. But trust goes so much deeper than lying or deception or what we might typically think of this. We want to trust our kids, whether they're 7 or 17, with their responsibilities, with their homework, with their chores. We want to be able to trust them that they're going to take care of these things without us micromanaging them, reminding them, nagging them. Because almost 100% of 7-year-olds are capable of doing these things. Even if your kid is neurotypical, they have so much inside of them. If you don't believe me, look at them the next time they're doing something they enjoy doing, whether it be playing a video game or hanging out with their friends. They are very capable at age 7, at age 10, at age 12, at age 17. We want to trust them. We want to trust them to be well with time, because time is very important. I realized that my 7-year-old in the last 2 weeks had been struggling with getting ready for school on time, because now for the first time we're doing a carpool where her and my 14-year-old daughter, I drive them to school almost every day. And it's really important for the 7-year-old to be ready on time so that the 14-year-old is not late, and the 14-year-old will be ready on time. And the 14-year-old is rocking with time, being ready on time every day. And now we're all having tension because we cannot trust the 7-year-old to get ready. We're struggling in trust. But what does that mean? Does this mean there's something wrong with the 7-year-old? Here's what I think it really means. It actually means that I'm failing as a dad. I am failing. I am failing to teach my 7-year-old about trust, about family dynamics. I'm failing as a dad to give this 7-year-old enough support so that I can do a hands-off approach, because the 7-year-old's already shown for ample even years now that she can get ready on time and ready for her school. She's been very trustworthy, but something has changed. And so now, instead of me looking at it through these eyes of a lens, like, you have to do this. If you're not down here on time, you're in trouble. And looking at myself, like, how do I grow trust in my home? Parents, take a breath and ask yourself right now, how can I grow trust in my home? How can I improve being a teacher of trust? Your kids are never going to take class on the psychology of trust, how to build it, how to break it, how to repair it, why it matters to every relationship. And so if your child is not thriving with their emotions, with their hygiene, with their trust, well, then the first person to look at would be you. You need to improve our teaching. I'm talking to myself right now. Here's another thing. We want our kids, when they get very emotional, we want them to come to us, don't we? When they get scared, when they get angry, we want them to lean into us. We want to be able to trust them that, hey, we're here for you. You can come to us. And we want them to be able to trust us. We want them to be able to trust us, that they can come to us and that we're safe, we're cool, we're accommodating. We're going to work with them through their age-appropriate issues. We want to be able to trust our kids that they would honor boundaries. Honor boundaries when they're in the classroom, not hitting, touching other kids, but then honor boundaries in the house. We want to be able to trust them with self-care, that they are properly going with their age-appropriate hygiene and what they need to do. We want to be able to trust them when the stuff gets tough, that they do not give up, that they have grit, that they have perseverance. We want to be able to trust them that when someone in this family is hurting, that we can trust them to really show up with comfort. And we want them to be able to trust us with all these things and more, that we can comfort them through hard times. Take a second to think about your own parents right now. Could you trust your parents to show up for you, to be flexible for you? Could you trust your parents to teach you about the psychology of trust? Could you trust them when that conflict arose, that they were going to be the adult in the relationship? Can your kids trust you that when sticky stuff arises, that you and I are going to be the adults and we're not going to join the circus? Can we trust our kids to really see that this family is the most important thing? Family first. I have this document, and then if you could look at it, it's on page 29 of your parent guide if you're a VIP member. And you can see that it's entitled The 7 Stages of Breaking the Fear Cycle. The 7 Stages of Breaking the Fear Cycle. And one way of looking at this document is through the lenses of trust. In the beginning stages of our cycles with our kids was just so much reactions in our house. Another way of saying that is the trust in the house is low. We cannot trust them to manage their emotions well. And they can't trust us to manage our emotions well or to teach them how to manage their emotions well, because we are their teachers. And as you go through the stages, what you actually see is this increased amount of trust. And where we want to be is on stage 6 and 7. Stage 6 is entitled Successful Diffusing Connection and Expert Level Parenting. And what that really means, if you read that description, it kind of describes something like this, is that we can trust our kids to really, really manage their emotions. But we can trust them to be kids, to be 16, to be 6. And we can trust them that they're still going to make mistakes and they're going to come to us. And it's going to be messy and hard. And they're not going to always manage them well. And they can trust us that we're going to show up for them. We're going to be present in their mess. And we're going to hold their emotions. And what's incredible is that many of us, our goal is to get to stage 7 in the document, which I entitled Maturity. And this is an incredible part of parenting. Stage 7, I describe it in the document, is like, you know what, that we can now trust our kids to see our humanity and to see that we make mistakes. We act out. We say stupid stuff sometimes, and we can trust them to forgive us and to maybe show us comfort, show us grace and gentleness, show us teamwork. And that is amazing. So in conclusion, my friends, instead of seeing our kids through these lenses of obedience, we're prioritizing obedience, or we're prioritizing harmony. Instead of seeing our kids, we're prioritizing comfort. Like, it's my job to provide for them and their job is just to be comfortable. Let's see the world like this, that we are teachers of trust and we are raising amazing adults, that we want to help them thrive in all these arts of trust, trusting them to see us, to see their family, to see themselves with love and integrity. And we can work through in this journey called family life together. Parents, thank you for letting me be a positive voice in your life. I love you and I love your family. If you're sick and tired of those same painful patterns in your parenting or the same painful bad behaviors in your kids, then what are you waiting for? Join me in my VIP membership. I'd love to speak with you and give you the specific tools that you need.